Thanks again for joining us for another episode again of Case the Catty. You guys, we are going to case page 110. Let me put my eyes on of the annual catalog. And this is featuring the Willow Tree Bundle. All right. And the Willow Tree Bundle, let me tell you a little bit about the bundle. This bundle has 10 photopolymer stamps. It coordinates with the Willow dies. As a bundle, its total packet cost is $49.50. Let me tell you what it is, what's involved in, let me show you the dies, you guys. These are the dies that coordinate with the stamp set. One of the things that I actually enjoy about this is there's so many different pieces for the stems, and all that simply means is that I don't have to cut each stem one at a time. Okay, the more I need, I can actually lay them out on a piece of a cardstock, whatever that cardstock is, and then just die cut, what, 6 at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at a time. So that's actually what I love about this stamp set or die set that coordinates with the Willow Tree. All right, let's take care of a couple of admin things before we get started. You guys, if you are not aware, actually we just did the second week of the September flash sale, and what that is that all of September on Thursday, Stampin' Up! Will release or identify a whole set of products that will be discounted up to 50% off, up to 50%. So there is a list. I'll leave the links to all of that in the comments, excuse me, so that you will have that information if you are looking to order, okay? All righty, that's one admin note. Second admin note, perfect pairings. You guys, the perfect pairing, we are mid-month, just about. Actually, we are mid-month. The perfect pairing sets, the dies that coordinate with them, you guys, at the end of the month, if you are interested in any of the perfect pairing items, you need to make sure that you identify that and definitely get that before the end of the month. The stamp sets are in the catalog, so you don't have to worry about missing out on the stamp sets. However, the dies are not in the set. So if you're like me and you have what do you call it? Gotta have it all syndrome. If you want any of the coordinating dies that go along with the associated bundles, you need to hurry. You need to make sure you get them or identify them at least before the end of the month. Okay. Did anybody have the opportunity to shop yesterday on the annual stamp sale? I did. I used that opportunity to grab so many of the remaining stamps that I wanted in the catalog. So now I have them. I got them. Well, let me tell you the deal, okay? You guys, I know I'm trying to grow my network of stampers, but here's the deal, okay? Once you get to a certain level in Stampin' Up, it's Bronze Elite, I believe, and above, you get 25% as a demonstrator. You get 25% all of your products. Okay. Yesterday they did the flash sale, and that was 15% off of all stamps. Yesterday when I bought my stamps, you guys, I got them at 40% off. Okay, because I don't lose the 25% that I already have. It's additional to what I had. So I was able to buy all of the remaining stamps that I wanted, most of them anyway, for 40% off yesterday. If you love a good discount, you guys, do not hesitate to become a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, okay? I would love to have you on my team as part of my crafting network, and I hope you will as well. If you are going to shop with me for the sale, for anything, the hostess code for the month of September is 77JWUUSF. Again, that is 77, J as in Juliet, W as in whiskey, U as in uniform, U as in uniform, S as in Sam, F as in Frank. That is the hostess code for the month of September. All right, so let me show you what we're going to be working on today. We're going to work on these two cards, and if we have time, we're going to work on this third one. I promise to try not to keep you guys more than an hour, hour and 15, hour and 30 minutes, but I'm trying to keep everything to an hour. So this is the first card that we're going to make. Let me tell you what I'm seeing in here. I think this is Sahara Sand cardstock. It looks like that to me. This is that, what's that called? What's that type of ribbon called? Seam binding? No, I don't remember the name of the ribbon. Crinkled seam binding, I think it is. That's this ribbon. It's white, but we're going to show you how to get it to be yellow. Of course, basic white. And this, I'm not sure what it is, but I'm going to use another item, you guys, and I'll tell you guys about that. I ordered the memories and more, card packs, and I hardly ever use them, but I'm breaking them out tonight. Okay, here we see some soft sea foam. No, yeah, I think that's yeah, soft succulent. I'm sorry, this is the soft succulent cardstock. Looks like a little bit of Calypso Coral or Flirty Flamingo, not sure which, but we're gonna make sure, and we're gonna see what we're gonna go. So let's get started on hello. All right, so I've already pre-cut my pieces. As always, I try to be somewhat prepared. And this, of course, is a piece of basic of for me, this is Sahara Sand, I think. Yeah, I think so. It's either, yeah. No, this is more like crumb cake. So I'm going to go with crumb cake. Okay. And then we have a piece of basic white. And then we have this piece of cardstock. Okay. So my card base is 5.5 by 8.5. 8.5 by 5.5. No, that's not even right. I don't know how to tell it. This is the this is the 11. So it's scored at 5.5, right on the 11. So it's 4.25 by 5.5 by 11 scored on the 5.5. See, I gotta be able to say this to you guys right. Then we have a piece of this one. I use Grapefruit Grove. That's the color I'm going to use. And we're going to use this. Oh, this is not for this one. Okay. Then we have a piece of basic white for the inside. And we're going to get, when we have another piece for our stamping. Okay. So let's get this out of the way because we don't need any of this just yet. The first thing I'm going to do is, let me make sure. I see this going around there. So I don't need all of this, this ribbon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring out my Daffodil Delight Stampin' Blend. And you guys, the beauty of the Stampin' Blend is that it's an alcohol marker, and you can use it to color your white ribbon. Okay, and that's all I'm going to do to make this yellow. That's it. You can do this to any, if you want to coordinate your ribbon with your projects and you don't happen to have it, just go ahead and grab you some white crinkle seam binding, or seam binding itself, doesn't have to be the crinkled one, and get out your Stampin' Blend and just color it to the color that you want. Okay. It'll dry. Make sure I don't have it splotched in there or anything like that. Kind of even it out. I'm going to do just a little bit more to make sure that I have enough to wrap around my card. Okay. And I'm doing this ahead of time so that it has plenty of time to dry. Now, it doesn't take long to dry, but I just want to make sure, absolutely certain that it is dry before we put it on our card in a little while. Okay. All right, almost done. And then we're just going to let this dry. All right. If we are following the image, the next thing we are going to do is we are going to stamp our image on basic white. So let's grab a piece of basic white. And one of the things that I've learned, you guys, is that I stamp first, especially for something like that, is I stamp first and then I go in and I trim to what I need. I find that sometimes if I think I know what measurement it is, and then I either over or underestimate horribly. So I just make sure that that I stamp after. I trim it after. Okay. So we're going to stamp our tree image in, believe it or not, we're going to stamp it in gray granite. And let me tell you, the beauty of me casing the Catty, you guys, is that I'm actually using my stamps. Okay. I know I've told you before is that I tend to buy my stamps because I like them. But sometimes I like them so much that I don't break them out of the package and use them. So with this case, the Catty that we do, I get to just pick stamps out of the catalog that I have. And I'm like, no, I'm just going to use them. And that's what this is all about. Okay. Bring in a piece of scrap because I like to make sure that, especially when I'm just first priming a stamp, that it is primed enough. And so in order for me to test that, I make sure that I stamp it on a piece of cardstock or scrap paper and make sure that it is good to go. I got a little holes there. Okay. And that's okay. That's good that we do that, right? Because you know. And for those of you who are like me, I have a stamp apparatus and I very rarely use it because I just prefer to stamp on a block. But use your stamp apparatus, you guys, especially for stamps that you're going to use for the first time. And I'll tell you why you should do that, because if for whatever reason the ink misfires, you can just leave it right in place and ink it again. Okay. So I'm going to just start right in the middle. If you look at it's very close to the edge. So I'm not going to take up much room. I'm going to go about here. I'm going to press. And because I know on my test there was some issues here, I'm going to bring out my little Chucky tool so I can apply a little bit of pressure to make sure that the ink transfers 100%. Okay. Oh, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Okay. Love it when a plan comes together. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is we are gonna stamp the main image or the leaves. And the leaves we're gonna stamp in soft succulent. I don't know how this was in there. Let me tell you what I do as well, you guys. Love Stampin' Up! For this. I prefer, because of how I store my my stamps, I actually prefer when we did it the old way. But what I use this for is to make sure that when I'm putting my stamps back, when I'm putting them back, I know exactly where it goes and how it goes back in here. So that's how I use this as a guide to make sure that I put my stamps right back where I got them, like so. Okay. Perfect. All right. So we're going to use this image right here. Next. And again, this is not primed. We're going to go right back in with the big block. This is kind of big. Close this before I put my hand all in it. Okay. Now we're going to go with our soft succulent. Now, some people stamp, when you have a bigger image, such as this one, it's just easier to put the ink pad to the stamp instead of the other way around. So all I'm going to do again is I'm going to test again, but I'm also trying to make sure that I'm lining it up properly. Okay. There you go. So it's pretty decent. And so we're going to come right back in here, add some more ink on this. Make sure we get ink all over. I think we got good coverage there. Done with this. And I huff. On big stamps, I tend to huff just a little bit because I want to make sure that I get enough, the ink activated and ready for stamping. Might be a little bit off on this one, but that's okay. How is everybody doing tonight? Look at that. I was a little off on this side, but hey, that's good enough for what we used to say, good enough for government work. So we're going to go in with our trimmer and we're going to just trim this guy down. And we are almost done with the stamping and inking part with the first card. And if the image is cut very close, there's not a lot of, I want to cut that off. Better to cut not enough than to cut too much. I just did a little bit there. Okay. Then I'm going to trim the top just a tad. All right, so those of you who are like me that love measurements, by the time I trim this guy down, it was trimmed down to a piece of cardstock that is 3 3/4. Oh, 3 3/4 square. 3 3/4 square. That's what we used. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you the Memories and More. This Memories and More card pack is from the Texture Chic collection. And what I love about this, guys, why I buy them is if you want quick cards, you can go ahead and make quick cards. This right here is a card front that's already done. All you have to do is add your cardstock to the back. If you're going to add more DSP, you have a sentiment on the front, but then you also have just regular card paper, cardstock DSP that's pre-cut and ready for you to go. Okay, so you have all of these that you can use in your card making. Okay, and when you turn them over, this is beautiful. I don't know why I haven't been using this. Oh. Okay, this is the rest of it that's in the pack. Best day ever. Look at all of this. So if you've not been getting the card pack, memories and more, you probably need to think about them. Okay, makes for very quick card making. All right, that's what's in the pack. You also have these die cuts that are in there. Actually, these are die cuts, but they're adhesive backed. So you kind of just peel them off and stick them where you want them. Look at all of this. This is cool. If you journal, you can use these in your journal, in your planner. And these are 4x6s, I think. Yeah, these are 4x6s. Nope. Yes, 4x6. So you can trim these down a little bit to make full card fronts, or if you do 6x6 cards, you can definitely use it for that. Look at the back. You can just stamp a sentiment right here, put a couple of gems, and this card is done. Okay. So again, if you have not, if you've been like, what is this memories and more card pack? What is that all about? Guys, don't sleep on this item in the catalog. And there's quite a few in there. There's one with the Santa Express set. So there's quite a few in there. Okay, check them out. All right. So for tonight, I'm going to use, I've already chosen which one I'm going to use. I'm going to use this one. Okay, I think that was very pretty, but I don't like this to be so stark. So I'm kind of going to go in with a blending brush and add just a touch of blue to the sky. I'm sure there's no color on that. And I'm going to go in with my balmy blue. And I'm going to grab cinnamon cider. I know, right? Why am I grabbing cinnamon cider? Because there's yes, it's going to be covered by the ribbon, but still, I just want to add my own little touch to it. And again, it's light. I don't want a whole lot of color. I just want a little bit of color on this card. I just didn't want the white to be the basic white to be so stark as compared to everything else. Okay. That's it. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the bottom, but I'm going to use cinnamon cider. I absolutely love the cinnamon cider for like earth tones and stuff like that. I mean, I almost cried when it wasn't, I almost cried when it went out. Almost cried. Again, I just want it light. Just a little hint of color. And all I'm doing when I tap off is tap off a lot of the ink because I don't really want it too dark. You can always add more. You can't take it away. Okay. All right, so there we go. That's done. Let's see, what else do we have? How do we put this card together? All right. Here's our card base. Here's our pretty paper. And And then we are just gonna do that. That's all I see here. And then add our sentiment and ribbon. All right, so make sure our edges are lined up. I find sometimes that even though I use the scoreboard, when I fold them for whatever reason, they don't exactly 100% always line up, but that's an easy fix. Do you like this side or do you like this side? Let me show you, because it's gonna get covered up by this. All right, change in plans. Change in plan. Ugh. I loathe to cut this piece, so I'm not. So I'm gonna use this one. But what I want to do is I want to trim it. Right. I need to trim this just a little bit. And again, it's a 4x6. So I'm gonna leave, I'm gonna trim it to about five. Then I'm gonna cut it to 3. So I trim this down to a piece that's 3x5. This is what I'm gonna do here. Then this is gonna come here. And then our ribbon is gonna come here. Okay, that's what we're gonna do. All right, let's get to adhering some things down. And you'll hear me say this all the time, you guys, I use liquid glue for everything almost, because I just can't, I have challenges keeping things aligned properly. And so for me, it's just much easier if I have liquid glue that gives me that little extra time. That little extra time to get things in place. Okay, then I'm gonna put this one here. I want to do dimensionals. I hate a flat card. In case you haven't realized that, I absolutely hate a flat card. I hate a flat card. So I'm always looking for dimensionals. So I'm gonna put some on that one. Then I'm going to add it here. Make sure it's even and straight, or as straight as I can get it. Like so. Put that in place. I'm gonna put this guy right about here. All right, where's my little cheat? Where's my little bow cheater thing? All right, so here's another cheat. I have lots of cheats for bows because I'm not good at them. All right. right? I don't think I may not have colored enough. I'm looking for a bottle. And here's one right here. And here's another a faux bow idea. Okay. I want my loop to be a little bit bigger than that, just a little bit. So we're gonna tie this just a little square knot, make sure our ends are somewhat even. Make a bow. Actually, even do a square knot, right? I hope I cut enough, right? And then when you take this off, this is fine. This is what you're going to be, and you're going to end up with. Okay. Straighten this out just a tad. Then we are going to just put this like so. Wherever you want your bow to end up, kind of line that up that way. Right. I'll put it this way. All right. All right. So now that we know where we want this to go, I'm going to put some glue dots on why can't I find my things when I'm looking for them? Scratch that. I'm going to use score tape. Okay. And I'm going to put a little score tape here. Like so. Right. You got to make sure you're putting it on the right side now. Otherwise, you'll mess this up. And then I'm going to put a little scored tape here, like so. Burnish that in so that when you take the tape off, it doesn't come right off. The adhesive part stays on there. Okay? Now I'm going to do one at a time, one side at a time. Again, making sure everything lines up evenly where I want it to be. Right? So I want my bow to be right about here. So that's where I'm going to put that. Right? Wrap this around like that. Now I'm going to take off the other side like this and put it where I want it to go. Like so. It's straight, it's even, and there we go. You're like, but Caron, that's not a bow. Well, it's going to be a faux bow. So all we're going to do is trim this like so. And there we go. We've got a little bow. Okay. Trim this like so. Trim this like so. And look at that. Isn't that a bow? Ha ha ha. Nice, huh? Okay. Last thing we have to do is stamp our sentiment and get this card. And you know, I like bling, so I'm gonna bling it out just a little bit. So as you can tell, the stamp set doesn't have any sentiment, so feel free to go rogue with whatever sentiment you think. I'm going to be making a thank you card, so I'm going to use the thanks from Season of Chic, which is the coordinating. This is the DSP for this this suite called Texture Chic, and that is the coordinating stamp set and die that's in that suite. Alrighty, thanks. Line this up. So now the script itself isn't straight, so this is going to drive me nuts because it makes me think that I'm like all over God's creation with my sentiments, you know, trying to line it up. But as always, I'm going to stamp it and make sure that it's doing what I want it to do before we actually nail it down. Okay. Using Memento Black. You can tell it's not going to stamp well. I didn't prime it enough. That's much better. Okay. Trim our edges, and then we'll just add our sentiment to our card, and then you guys, this will be done. But again, I'm going to do something a little different here. Need my eyes for this one. And then I'm just going to, I just want it to be on the top. When I'm fussy cutting, unfortunately, I don't do it fast. And I really have to concentrate. If you would see the steam coming off of my ears right now, that would tell you exactly how hard I was concentrating on trying to get this right. And the trick again about fussy cutting is to move the hand that you're not using with the scissors, just to make sure you have a little bit more control over where the cut's going. You don't move the scissor at all. Oops. Like so. And we are almost done with our sentiment. There we go. Sometimes the turn, man, it's the turn that gets you. It's the turn that'll do ya. Get rid of that part. And you just need to, if you're not happy with where you trimmed it off at, that's fine too. You can go ahead and just make the adjustment. Perfect. There we go. And we're just going to add a little bit of liquid glue. Make sure it all stays down. Now we're going to put this guy in place about right here. And we have our card. I'm going to add bling to it, you guys, but I'm not sure what I'm going to do. But for now, we have got card 1 complete, except for our insides, which we're going to do right now. I always stamp something on the inside, not quite sure. And then the other thing that I'm probably going to do is, because I don't like this, I'm going to put a piece of cardstock, same color, over that just to cover that up. But I'll do that again on the back side. All right, so here we go. Card number 1 is done. And I think we kind of did a good job. We changed it up just a little bit, but other than that, we cased this card. All right, next is this guy right here. This one we're gonna have some fun with. All right. This again, as we can see, is soft suede. And I've pre-done a lot of die cutting on this one because I knew we would run out of time. Or I would be longer than I wanted to, especially if I had to keep the die cutting it. And so let's put this aside for now. So what we have is a piece of cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. Our card base is an A2 card base. It's scored, it's 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored at 4 1/4. I have a little edge thing going on here, so I'm just trimming that up. I need to tighten my blade. And what I did before was I die cut the leaves. And one of the things that I'm gonna do to build a little depth to this card is I'm gonna do some tone-on-tone stamping. With the leaves. I never seem to have my little blocks where I need them. The little ones, the little ones. All right. So I'm just gonna go in and do some random stamping with the leaves on the 4 by 5 1/4 piece of cardstock. And I'm random stamping, meaning I'm really just turning the paper, and wherever the leaf lands, that's kind of where it's gonna stay. I know this can take a little while, but you'll see why I'm doing this. Again, I'm just trying to build a little bit of texture in the card, little bit of fun. And you'll see what I'm going to do with those die cuts. That, my friends, is random stamping, done Caron style. All right. Because that will get everywhere. Okay. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to take these little leaf die cuts and we're going to add them onto the cardstock, and making sure that we just randomly place them. Making sure that we have some that's going off of the card. Building that texture. Brain cells, I'm concentrating so hard. I hope somebody joined me tonight. Did anybody join me tonight? If you are, please take a chance, take a minute, say hello. Hello, hello. And I'm really not worried about so much about the outside or the center of the card. Again, like so. Consistently lose my pen. I know that this bottle does not like that. Okay, then I'm just gonna go in and trim whatever is hanging over, like so. Okay, probably could have used some more. Sometimes it's definitely better to build more than less. So now we're going to set this aside for a little bit. I'm going to come in with a piece of cardstock, and I need my tree limbs again. My tree trunk, I should say, because it's not the limb. I'm gonna color him with soft suede, different hues, just a little bit. And again, it's the bigger stamp, so I'm gonna take the pad to the stamp instead of the stamp to the pad. We're gonna die cut all of this, so not too concerned about placement of things right now. Okay, hopefully that did a good job of transferring our ink. I'm gonna peel this off. Use my Chucky tool. Make sure we transfer ink properly. Oh, perfect. Right. And then we are gonna come in with this tool, our Stamparatus, you guys. And there's a reason why we're gonna use our Stamparatus today. I'm gonna move this guy on the 1-inch mark. Why is that important? Well, if you have to go back in, you need to know where you put it in there first, right? So, see, like it lifted? Now I know I need to put it back in the 1-inch mark because that's where I lined it up. So for this one, we're gonna go in with a shaded spruce. Again, make sure it's lined up on the 1-inch. Use our Chucky tool. Like so. Make sure we line it right back up on the 1-inch. And what we're gonna do to add some color and that difference that we see is we're gonna go right back in. And the beauty of having, oh wait, something didn't transfer. Let's do that again. See? Let's do that again. Okay. Now we're gonna go in with some daffodil. I'm gonna go with crushed curry. I just had a, whatchamacallit here. I just had a sponge dauber. I have absolutely no idea what I did with it. Okay, well, grab another one. We're just gonna go in on the same image and randomly stamp Daffodil Delight, or this is crushed curry, on that stamp. And then I'm gonna huff on it just a little bit. To activate that color, make sure we're on the 1-inch. See some color difference? I want to add just a little bit more so it can accentuate the difference. Make sure there's some color. I don't want to blot out the shaded spruce, but I do want you to be able to see the different textures and shades. Awesome. Set this aside. And then one more thing that we need to stamp is the, I don't even know what to call this part. We're going to stamp it in basic gray. Like, I don't want to say it's a pond because the tree's not growing in the pond. I don't know. I guess it's the shadows. Alrighty. Let's put some of this stuff out of the way. Then we need to die cut. So we're going to die cut this guy. We're going to die cut this guy. And what did I do with my tree? I have to trim this. And the reason I'm trimming this is so that it'll fit through the mini cut and emboss machine, because I don't want to use the big guy. I'm not sure it'll fit. We'll see. All right. So we know when we use, we put this on our table, it's going to shake a little bit. So pardon the shaking of the camera as we die cut these items. It's this one. I hope I didn't lose it. Okay. I thought that one had one. Ow. Yeah, I might have to die cut that one. That's okay. Bring in our cutting plates. Plate number 1. Plate number 2. Paper. Die. And you may not see it, but you'll see it come through on the other end, okay? There we go. Then the next plate. Oops. Not cheating today. I'm trying not to make a mess here and get too much shaking going on. And there we go. And then we need to die cut our tree. Oh, yes, it'll fit. I love it. If you don't use too big of a piece of cardstock, it will go right through the mini Stamp and Cut and Emboss machine. Perfect. Make sure I don't lose anything. There we go. Clamp it down. And again, I apologize for the shaking of the camera. It shifted a little bit. Okay. Not too bad. Not too bad. All righty. Not sure why I thought there was a die for that one. Hopefully I didn't lose it. But that would not make me very happy if I lost the die. How many dies are in this set? I have to figure it out. Anyway, so we don't waste time because we're already an hour in. We're just gonna go, we're just gonna die cut or fussy cut this piece. And because it's so small, we can definitely get this done a lot quicker than we did the thanks. What's for dinner tonight, everybody? I came home and I was in the mood for a burger. And let me tell you, I have the patties out. I haven't had dinner yet. And so that's gonna be my, when I get off here tonight, I'm gonna go fix me a hamburger for supper. All right, so we've got this. So I think we're gonna get ready to put our card together, okay? So here's what we have. We have our card base or our card front. All right. We have our little shaded area. We're gonna take a little time, make sure we line all these things up right. Like so. And I'm gonna put this like so. Oh, I know what I'm gonna do because I don't like that. Ah, sorry, it's gonna take a little bit more time, but that's okay. Let's put this down. Put it approximate, well, not approximately, put it where you want your tree. See, this isn't straight, so already I'm doing things crooked. All right. Then we're gonna put our tree down. All right, we're gonna put our tree where we want our tree. We're gonna put this where we want this. Let's stamp this. Maybe twice. Just on a little bit of scrap. I'm gonna go in. Thank y'all for being patient with me tonight. I hope you enjoyed watching, creating. I really wish you guys would, you know, if you will, join me on a Thursday night, grab your parts, your pieces, and let's stamp, y'all. I would love the company. There we go. Okay. Gonna go in. Line this up as best as I can again. I'm not using my Stamparatus this time. So, because it's photopolymer, I'm gonna try to get as close as I can. I didn't do too bad. I didn't do too good either. How about I do that? Right? That's what I'm gonna do. Right from the get-go. Up on it, up on it. And I think I'm gonna do about 2 of them. See how the color, we did that right there. Go back in, because we are doing a second. Uh-oh. I should have done it the other way around. The light color. And the dark color. Never. Note to self, that's how you should do your color. Light first and then dark. You don't want to contaminate your, you don't want to contaminate it with the darker color, which I just did. So we're gonna make this really quickly, you guys. And thank you guys for your patience with me. We are making these on the fly, and so it take a little time when you don't kind of plan them out a little bit. Although it is planned. And here's number 1. Try to get them lined up as best as you can. Get rid of that one. And then we're going to do the second. So again, why did I do that? Several reasons. Let me die cut this first, and then we'll have a conversation about why I'm doing this. Okay. All right. So the reason I did this is if you take a look at the tree, the way it is configured right now, do you see all of this in here? So all I'm going to do is kind of put these two in there to kind of give my tree, fill it up just a little bit. Okay. And that I'm going to put on dimensionals. At least one of them anyway. Right. So I'm going to put this one like so, and then pop this one to get some dimension on here. That. Then we are going to go in, put dimensionals on this one. This is why I have such a mess to clean up at the end of all of this. I just throw those little backings anywhere. All right. So you see, we got a little texture there. All right. So the last thing we have to do is our sentiment and some embellishments, and then we are done. All right. So let's figure out a sentiment that we want. And we're going to stamp our sentiment on our little piece of Grapefruit Grove. Because that's what that is. What sentiment do we want? How about we do this one? You are amazing beyond measure. This away. I don't want to lose this guy. Good thing it's in from the same set. All right. All right. I'm going to go in, do a little conditioning of the stamp. And I'm going to go in with some Versamark. Okay. Stamp our Versamark. Let's stamp this as close to the bottom as we can get. Make sure the Versamark transfers. Oh yeah. And you guys, we are going to heat emboss this with some white embossing powder. Gotta go in for some close work here. Cool. Dry for just a tad. Now it's doing that. Just a little bit off of each side. 2, 4. All right, so for those of you that may want to know, this piece is 3 1/4 by just a little bit shy of 3/4 of an inch. Okay, that's what we're playing with there for our sentiment. And then we're just going to flag our sentiment, and by that we're just going to snip. Well, here's the easy way, or a way, right? Kind of like bend just a bit. Put them together like the edges, and then snip corner to corner like so, and you have bannered your sentiment. Let's do the same on this side. Yeah. There we go. Now we are done with that, except for our dimensional. How about we do this? 1, 2. Right? We want one on this end. We want one in the middle. And then we want a piece on the other end. Excuse me. Sure it's straight. Add our sentiment. Make sure it's straight. There we go. And then all we're gonna do, I'm gonna put this on our card base. like so. Right, I'm not going to add any dimensionals to it because there's already dimensionals on the card. So if we were going to mail this, we might have to do extra postage just because of the dimensionals already on there. So if that's a concern for you, you just need to be very mindful of how much layering or dimension you're adding with the use of dimensionals. Okay. Then I'm going to use my Nouveau drops, y'all. Just add some. 1, 2, 3. And I'm just putting them, there's no rhyme or reason, except for the rule of 5. I feel like I have more on this side. So I'm just going to put this guy about right here. Okay. So there you have it. Now, obviously, I'm not going to pick that up just because those have not dried and those have not set just yet. But we have successfully cased another Catty. And if I can find the other one, I'll bring it out. That's what happens in my life. And there we go. Everybody, thank you guys again for joining me for another episode of Case the Catty. I am going to post the events for the next couple of Thursdays because I think this was the last one that I had pre-planned for you. So I'm just going to go through and I might just do Christmas or holidays going into the fall and holiday season because, you know, we got to get started on those holiday cards, right? So these again are cards that we created from page 110 of the annual catalog featuring the Willow Tree Bundle. You guys, thanks for joining me tonight. Again, this is Carone with your independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up, inviting you to join me every Thursday, unless something happens. Join me every Thursday for a casing of the Catty. Bye. Happy stamping.